Patch 7.4 Into the Mist for Final Fantasy XIV Online is packed with a lot of quality of life changes, some of them small and some of them much larger, and today we're going to go through the majority of those, from cosmic exploration tweaks to deep dungeon safety nets and crafting, gathering, glamour improvements, the whole lot. So first of all, the general and sort of world quality of life. Starting with the general improvements then, this has to be mentioned first of all. A long overdue system is the repair all option. Traditionally, what you would have to do if you were going to repair stuff either yourself or at a vendor is you would have to repair things individually via a drop down. So you could click on your armory chest, for example, and repair all of the items in there, your inventory, etc, etc. Now you can just press a simple button and it will repair everything from every single slot that you have on your character, which is pretty cool. So no more clicking through individual gear slots. This has to be one of the best quality of life changes they've ever made, and definitely makes the list of some of the best ever made in the game. You can now also teleport directly to Phantom Village if you're doing your relic weapons or you want to go to a Court Crescent from Tulialal. We have mentioned this before, but it's worth noting this quality of life change. As long as you've unlocked all of the Ethernet shards in Tulialal, this one will also unlock if you've been to the Phantom Village before, meaning that it's quicker to get there rather than having to go to the dockside and then teleporting there via an NPC. There are new aetherytes on the Moon and Faena, with plans to unlock them on the new planet Oises, releasing on the 6th of January as part of patch 7.41 as part of that upgrade process, meaning that travel around those places doing your various missions, your stellar missions, will be a lot quicker. This especially is useful for gatherers, and of course if you're doing the world upgrade fates so that you don't miss those, you can just teleport to the general location rather than having to use the Cosmo liner itself. Additionally, with Cosmic Exploration and Stellar Missions also got some big clarity and reward upgrades. When you perform Stellar Missions on the same star, so that's a very big limiting factor. So if you're on the Moon or on Faena and you do consecutive missions and build a gold count based on consecutive gold star completions, this gives you rewards. So 2 golds will give you 5% rewards, 3 golds 10%, 4 golds 15%, 5 golds 20%, and Superstar, which is 6 golds in a row, will give you a 30% net of rewards. This will reset once you've reached that Superstar. This applies to Class A or higher stellar missions and provisional missions as well. You'll also get a message when a stellar mission requires expert recipes now, so no more surprise failures, and an exclamation mark icon will appear over Aelrot, the NPC, when a mech op directive is active. Additionally, during red alerts, you can now talk to Lef Leda, an NPC in Sinisidorum, to warp directly to mission sites, so no more walking around on the Moon. Additionally, announcements have been added before and during red alerts, and you'll now be notified of initiative progress when entering a cosmic exploration area, which you can toggle on or off in the Exo tablet settings if you would rather not have that pop up every time you go there. The Exo tablet itself has been expanded in preparation for the new artifact search feature coming on the 6th of January in patch 7.41, along with the updated explanation text for the new drone bits that will be obtainable on Oises. So that's pretty exciting. Lots of preparation stuff and some good changes to the various different planets and moons in general. Talking about emotes and social stuff then, so emotes got some subtle but welcome clarity. There's now an icon on an emote now showing whether or not this can be used when you're using the torch accessory. The torch accessory is something that was added recently, which is pretty awesome, and of course it might be interesting to know which things can be used whilst you're holding a torch, and that's what that's there for. The cheer emotes were also renamed and recolored. Cheer On is now Cheer On Blue, Cheer Wave is now Cheer On Yellow, and Cheer Jump is Cheer Jump Red. The icons themselves are now far more vibrant, making them easier to distinguish at a glance, and of course having the text for what color they are does make a lot more sense than just trying to guess what a Cheer On emote is, etc. Deep Dungeon quality of life then. We talked about this before, but the Deep Dungeon players are eating good this patch. In Pilgrim's Traverse, if you complete a challenge log objective with a full inventory, which does happen, rewards are now temporarily stored in the loot list instead of being lost forever. So if you're like me, and you need to clear your inventory out quite a lot because you're doing lots of things and you're storing things in your inventory, no worries about losing that oil, for example, which is quite integral to getting some of the bigger rewards. You can also now safely disconnect whilst you're not in combat and log back in within 10 minutes without losing the run. This will save some of those, and it even works in full parties. The only exception is that every other player, if they disconnect while someone is KO'd inside there, this will still count as a wipe. This is especially useful with the various DDoS attacks that are happening to North American servers, and should kind of help you if you're trying to do the solo achievements and things like that. Or, of course, doing your weeklies for that challenge log for the oil for rewards that you can sell on the market board. Variant and criterion then, with a new variant mode map added in 7.45 later this year. A new variant mode skill has been added in preparation for that. This is Variant Eagle Eye Shot. It's usable by tanks, healers, and DPS roles. This deals range damage with a potency of 150, but it does scale with item level. This is particularly useful. You can try it out, and it's pretty handy having something off global that you can just press to do damage. Variant and criterion labels have also been updated to read variant and advanced/criterion, prepping for the upcoming mode changes in 7.45. And lastly, the record windows will now show small green indicators when new entries are available, making it much easier to track your progress, especially if you're chasing the mount achievements from doing all 12 routes, which is something I expect will be in the new one as well. For duty support and trust quality of life, so duty support and trust content, the AI content, received a major survivability improvement with a new willful status effect. Willful will allow players to survive lethal damage once per stack, leaving them at 1 health point, followed by full healing via will to live. You could stack this up to 5 based on how many times you're KO'd, and all stacks are eventually removed once the boss is defeated. Currently, this only applies to the Bowl of Embers, the Naval, the Howling Eye, and the Porta Decumana if you do those with trust NPCs. However, in later duties like Mother Crystal, Everkeep, and the Ageless Necropolis, where without spoiling that content you're joined with 7 other NPCs, but it also now includes a healing over time effect additionally to that in that content specifically. It's unclear whether or not they intend to expand on this in the future to other content, but that's what it affects at the moment. Additionally, for that, the cover and covered status icons used by NPCs was also updated for better clarity, as you can see on this image from the patch notes. And obviously Glamour had a huge quality of life update to this patch we won't go into too much. The unrestricted Glamour system is obviously massive, and you probably already know that. I've talked about it quite a bit on other videos, but on top of that you can now store partial outfit sets in the Glamour dresser instead of needing every piece, which is especially useful if you don't want to have to go and collect a full set of an outfit to store it as one piece and you only want to store 2 or 3 pieces, which is especially good. More items have been added to that outfit tag system, so if you're wondering if there's something in your Glamour dresser that should be stored as an outfit instead, there's now a filter at the top, this button here, to show which stored items can be converted into outfits. So this is nice quality of life to sort of shore up some more space in your Glamour dresser, because we're not going to get the Glamour dresser increase beyond 800 slots until way after 7.5 by the looks of things. All in all, the Glamour dresser should be a lot cleaner, but you're still going to run into some space issues for the time being. In terms of crafting quality of life then, the confirmation prompt for extracting materia has been removed. So if you do lots of dungeons and you want to work on spirit bonding, fewer menus is always a win. Not having to say yes every time you want to extract materia from gear, that's a huge win. Trial Synthesis now lets you set starting quality and condition to always normal, and the window also reopens automatically after your Trial Synthesis is completed, which is really nice. You can also choose to quick synth only normal quality items as well. Some really good little Trial Synthesis options if you're trying to figure something out before actually using materials. For gathering then, we've got some quality of life. Fishers can now change bait whilst mounted, which honestly should have been in the game years ago. I don't understand why this was a limitation, but now at least, whilst you're walking around between places, especially on the moon or other planets for cosmic exploration, you might be wanting to swap your bait. Having to actually dismount to change bait was weird, and effectively they fixed that. Precision and powerful hook set effects will now also only appear when they're actually relevant, which is a huge change, which means that instead of you thinking that you need precision or powerful hook set, it will only pop up if you can actually use them to your advantage. That's really nice. And finally then, your post-gathering immobility time has been reduced. So the time after you've actually gathered something and putting your rod away or your pickaxe or of course your botany axe has been reduced significantly, meaning that you've got less downtime between going between nodes, which should help you for your time nodes on Cosmic, as well as just having more time to do other things rather than waiting for silly animations. And finally, you can also choose to receive only normal quality items when you desynth, which is particularly useful as well. So while 7.4 might not have the biggest quality of life changes in the game ever, it certainly has some of the coolest additions that we've seen all expansion. But these quality of life changes do add up fast. Let me know which ones you're most happiest about. Hopefully this video was helpful, especially if we highlighted anything that you didn't know about. And of course, I'll try and do this for subsequent patches in the future as per usual. Thank you so much for watching. 7.4 was absolutely awesome. Super excited for the future patches, and definitely excited to get stuck into 7.41 on Tuesday. Much love, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.